Hey there, Aries. Something big is shifting behind the scenes right now, and I really don't think this person can hide their feelings from you much longer. There's been so much confusion, silence, and mixed energy surrounding this whole connection, but all of that is finally starting to break apart. They miss you so deeply, you know? They miss your voice, your energy, and the way you just understood them without needing any explanation. They're realizing nobody else makes them feel the way you do, because this connection completely changed them and forced them to look at themselves differently. They're realizing they just don't want to lose you, so trust your intuition, because something emotional, honest, and long overdue is getting ready to happen. Before we jump into the deep dive, I'm Carol from Spiritual Aura Tarot. If this message is hitting home for you today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and join our space so you never miss the messages meant for your path. Now let me pull these cards and see what's really going on between you two. Okay, so it's feeling like there's this whole reversal of energy happening here, like something's being blocked or, you know, just completely turned around. And I'm also feeling like your person, you know, might have been playing games with you. It's possibly like just the way they learned to be, or maybe they were like really just second guessing what you were really after. Because they were so like uncertain about you, they just doubled down on their own behavior, you know? But it's clear something's like totally stuck or even like regressing. This whole thing could be dragging up stuff from like a long time ago, maybe even last year or perhaps just a couple of months back. But whatever it's, I'm sensing, you know, a real shift happening right now. So with this like competitive energy, it might just be that your person was, you know, genuinely afraid of things moving forward. Like they were just terrified of getting too close to you. So they used all these like games to just keep their feelings hidden. It's also possible this person's been like trying to see how you'd react, but you were kind of like the house in the casino, you know, you always had the advantage. It's like you were totally aware of their hand the whole time. I'm not sure why, but I just like get this feeling you probably recognize this as them having some, you know, really major issues with abandonment. This is like a pattern you might have seen before, or, you know, maybe it's something you did yourself, like back in the day, as a way to cope with, you know, some kind of hurt. Because I'm sensing this like dynamic. You're over here, you know, trying to be all flexible, and they're just acting really controlling, all while like dealing with these intense intimacy issues. But the truth is, you know, you made a huge impact on this person. I'm like just still feeling into this whole game aspect, you know, when you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. The whole two can play at that game thing. It's how you play. Do you play with integrity, or do you play underhanded? However you've conducted yourself, however you've maintained your energy, your stability, your ethics, okay, your moral compass, your code, that ultimately is going to determine the outcome of the game. A lot of times people think they won. They think they won because they have small victories, but in reality they didn't win anything, but they celebrated too quickly. So this too can play at that game with this Mike Tyson, in the sense of when you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. Who you came to the party with isn't who you leave with. This could even be your person also sitting here thinking about the games that were played by either somebody around them, a friend or family, maybe a coworker, in order to gain the upper hand in your connection or your situation. And I'm pulling in on somebody being extremely jealous. And this can be somebody that's very toxic. They have a brutal type of energy, and they're very narcissistic. So this person that was purposely playing games, this is that FFO, you know, F around and find out type of energy, because there's some type of limitation that's being pushed here right now. This can be your person pushing the boundaries, but I don't feel like that's it. I think it's an energy of game recognizes game. And there's also something here where your person had to learn a very hard lesson with who they're playing with. Playing the game's fine as long as everybody knows the rules, as long as there's a moral compass, right? You can't just have no boundaries or no limitations. So it feels like there's a level of limitations here now, which is now why two people can engage. Letting go of you was the hardest thing I ever had to do, and lesson learned. So there could have been somebody here that was playing games, was going back and forth, moving forward 4 steps and then all of a sudden going back 4 steps. And it really felt like this push and pull energy where this person didn't know what to do. You could have even got to the point where you were like, look, enough's enough. I'm not going to do this with you. You want to play games, go play in the sandbox. But be careful, because the sandbox has cat turds in it. But hey, listen, I don't judge. If you prefer the cat box, be my guest. And I feel like there's some type of significant lesson here that your person's learning when it comes to you, but also in the lesson that they're learning when it comes to you, they're thinking a lot about the past right now. If I would have done this differently, would this have been a different outcome? What happens if I would have given to the collective the way that I always wanted to give to the collective? Because the reality is you both felt the exact same way with one another, which is why it was confusing. And that's why your person's sitting here crisscross applesauce with their head in their hand, having a headache, having a migraine, sinus issues, whatever it may be, worried about what wasn't said. It's almost like, like a nasal drip where it goes down your throat and it becomes scratchy and just relatively uncomfortable. Instead of just blowing your nose and getting everything out, it's like this person allowed something to go on for too long and it became some type of significant burden. And I feel like you could have done a 1-2 skidoo on them, right? Like that's the surprise, that's the got them, right? It's something here where somebody in either your person's life or your person continued to play games, but you beat them at their own game. That's why they're sitting here, lesson learned, that they shouldn't have played with fire. You can't play with fire and then be surprised when you get burned. It's like the people that do black magic, death magic, whatever. Anything to me, anything that's not of God's wrong. If you're controlling something and it's meant for God to decide, that's wrong. God to choose and you're taking it into your own hands, that's wrong. So somebody here is also reaping what they sow. So there's something here with this energy. And I also feel like too, this is somebody that's looking for you everywhere. This is also somebody that I feel like is praying a lot about putting in more effort. This is somebody that feels extremely guilty for hurting you, guilty for the way that they've gone, because they understand also that they were a brick wall. They were a brick wall, but that they wanted you to continue to fight for them or continue to chase them, which is ironic because it's like everything around this person was leading to you. This person's third eye in particular illuminated because of you. So there's a lot of hurt here, I feel like. But to be honest, for a group of you, this hurt that's healing too can play at that game and letting go. You had to let go of this person. Or this person let go of you because the games began to cause more hurt, and this person was also hurt at the same time that they pulled back from you, and now they're learning this lesson, and it's a twin flame lesson. So for some of you, you're definitely on the twin flame journey where it pushes you to certain boundaries, it pushes you to heal childhood wounding, it pushes you closer to God. Whatever's happening, this person's realizing who you are now, because you've always been the same. You've never switched up, you've never changed who you were. You could have elevated your conception, you could have elevated your process, your thoughts, whatever it may be, but it's something definitely coming in here where this person's realizing you're complete opposites. You're the yin to their yang. You're the one that fuels them. You're the one that lights a fire under their caboose and makes them want to go out there and change. But I also feel like your person needed to hit the brick wall so that they could learn the lesson that's the start-stop, the game playing, it only hurts themselves. There's also something with your person with coffee meat. When coffee meat cocktail, we're so different, but we work so well together. For some reason, your person could have had a certain ideology or a certain concept of the way that they went about things. This somebody coming in as highly intelligent. They're coming in as highly intelligent, but very strategical. Everything with this person's a strategy, which that makes sense when you're coming through life, except when it comes to love and romance, because intellect goes out the window when emotions are involved. So this person's always trying to play games, trying to test you to see, do you really love me? This almost like, it's funny, there was a scene in Martin and Gina where he was like, that's it, Gina, I'm done. I'm done with you, get out. And she said, oh. And he said, yeah, I want you to get out. And she said, okay. And she turned around and started to walk. And then he started crying. He's like, wait, G, wait, please, no, wait. Okay, sorry, I'm sorry, Gina. And she turns around and she's like looking at him like, why are we playing games? You know, you don't want me to leave. I don't want to leave. I love you. You love me. Like, what are we doing here? That's something about this person. You guys definitely could be different ethnicities. You guys can have different religious backgrounds, age, race, whatever, gender. And I feel like the way that this person showed their love, it was through game playing. But for you, how you were raised was, that's not right. So there's different ideologies when it does come to love. And I also feel like, too, with the fact that you're so different today, you're different than anybody that they've ever met, which why you're their twin flame, which why you've awakened them to the 3D games. You've awakened them to the fact of, why was it hard for me to let you go when I knew all I wanted was you? Because you're perfect for one another. A lot of times people want to find somebody that's just like them. Same ideology, same logic, same everything. But in reality, those people don't help us grow. They help us remain stuck and stagnant. So you and this person could work with one another. You guys could go out for coffee. Coffee could be a big thing between the two of you, or even cocktails. But they're beginning to realize, it's funny though, because here's the flip side of the coin. The more games one person played, the more that they really did begin to understand who you were. And the more that they began to understand who they were. Who you were while you were playing their game, knowing it was a game, is they learned how perfect you're for them. This also why somebody wants to enter into a new phase of commitment. They don't want to let you go anymore. They're not going to care about the differences. This somebody where there could have even been religious factors that could have came into play here, right? There's different cultures, there's different ethics. Maybe, you know, you're dealing with somebody multicultural. I always use who's multicultural, and you're Irish or you're Italian or you're Spaniard or you're Caribbean or whatever, or you're Muslim, whatever it may be, right? There's a lesson learned here over God, which is crazy. But that's really what the twin flame journey is. It's the power of two. It's the power of two souls coming together, forging or building this sacred bond that's blending the cultures, which ultimately blending the best of that and whatever the negative components are. It's leaving it aside. I feel like with this person, they could have felt like they were right with God, but it's something here where this person's beginning to understand the pain of the crown. The pain of the crown's digging in. And that to me is like the pain of the thoughts, right? It's like almost as if this person felt like, I have to make a sacrifice. And I'm sacrificing my love for you because I know that this is what I have to do. Because you're different than me. When in reality, this person's just emotionally scared. This could even be somebody where you felt like they had a lot of people that they were talking to on the back end, only to find out that you and them were being honest with one another, that you and them were actually loyal to one another despite whatever the optics look like. I'm also getting with the handprint on the face, you've left a certain imprint. You've left a certain imprint on them that they can't deny. And I also think they feel bad because it's like if you have somebody that's very tough, It doesn't matter if you're a feminine or a masculine. If you're somebody that's very tough and you never cry, you stand tall, and you break down in front of somebody that's never seen you cry, it's awkward. It's like, what's going on here? That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like for your person. I also get that this person's purposely avoided getting close to you because they were scared of what their emotions meant when it came to you. And it can be because they were married, they're religious. For some of you, it's like a weird, like arranged marriage, because the reality is this person does have options, but the only one that they see is you, because you're their person. You're the person that's been chosen. Everybody else is breadcrumbs. No one compares to you. But I also feel like with your person, there was a lot of questions. Was this real? The love I feel for you is too intense. And I think that because of the intensity of the situations, why they played the games. Trial and error to test, are you really here or are you not? I'm not justifying your person's behaviors. That's not for me to judge. And to be honest, it's really not for you either. That's between them and God. But the intensity is what scared this person, because they were scared of how to enter into a phase of commitment. I definitely feel like there was a major wake-up call between you and this person. They could have been worried about you leaving and being with somebody new. This could even be a dream. Jellyfish is significant. There's something about jellyfish. It's transparency. It's like you can see directly through a jellyfish, but also you understand that it stings. So as transparent as there are also boundaries in order to protect themselves. You could have been very transparent, but this person pushed a boundary. And that boundary could have been pushed because of trauma, childhood wounding, certain negative, toxic, addictive behaviors, drinking, partying, a lifestyle, an ideology, an overinflated ego of their significance, or somebody insecure. But the reality is this person loves you, and that's something nobody can take away. Also with this person, your abilities scare them. So whoever's watching this right now, you're one intuitive bad MFR, because the way that you're able to transmute things, for some of you it may be a cook, you may be in law enforcement or a detective or like mysteries, but it's something about your ability to see things that nobody else can see, and they always felt like you knew it even though they didn't show it. That doesn't make it right though. I am going to be honest. That doesn't make it right. Some of you are definitely dating a cop or somebody that could be in law enforcement. With the donuts, you're the best I've ever had, could also be in like science or government. That's why this person was gaslighting or pretending, because you were the best for them. They knew that after you, there wasn't anybody else. This is somebody that feels very guilty for allowing their pride to get in the way when they really had all of this hidden pain. And this hidden pain is ultimately what helped them transform, because I believe that this hidden pain's on both sides. It's just not one side. That's why this person's coming in and they're saying, I'm sorry. They're so worried about this tower moment, about this emotional storm. They were trying to protect themselves from the pain, from their emotions, only to have it come crashing down. That was the wake-up call. Because again, they kept questioning whether or not you really loved them, or if it was something that was all in their head because for some reason you come off as an illusion to them. There's no way that somebody could be like you and love somebody like me. It's like they felt like it was all a dream. You could be having dreams about this person, but also with you, they're very physically attracted to you. But it's your intellect. It's the way that you communicate. It's the way that you talk about it. This is also somebody that's been in chaos with certain obligations, family drama, but they're leaving it out completely. They're done. They're like, look, okay, I'm not Boo Boo the Fool. I'm in love. I'm not a fool. because I know that now that the chaos in my life, it has nothing to do with you. You're innocent. The Fool card is innocent. The Fool doesn't have a dog in the race. The Fool just walks by and is like a kid. They look at you and they're like, oh, you look ugly today, and then they do a cartwheel, right? It's like that's how they feel, innocent. Or it's saying, I bet 100K on red, bye, and walking away, and then red hits, right? It's like you're not getting the money for it, you're not, but it's just your energy in general's innocent. It's free. It's not restricted. That's why this person's realizing that they need you in their life. They also wonder if you and this person are in a pause or not speaking. They were curious with whether or not you were happy without them, because at the same point in time they felt like everything was drowning or is drowning. So how are you happy when I'm falling apart? You're over there like, I'm happy because I loved you and I didn't play games. I was authentic. So if you have to walk away, you know that you can walk away with your head held high, because you've given everything, positive, negative. You've been transparent. You didn't gaslight this person. You didn't try to hurt them in any sense. And this person is realizing how happy you make them, because when you leave, it feels like their sunshine's gone. And this person coming forward saying, you're the one for me, and I'm sorry I allowed my pride to get in the way. This somebody that wants to come in and say that they're sorry right now. They're acknowledging you're the only person for them. This something 24/7, 365, 7 days a week. They choose you. I just think that with them, the intensity, it made them feel foolish. They could have even had friends and family telling them, you're crazy. There's no way somebody like that would want to be with somebody like you. Or there's something that's hiding, right? Something that's going on. The fact that this person has a lot of regrets is also they regret the way that they approached things, or they regret the way that they treated you, because you didn't deserve that. Now this person's in a place where when they're up creek without a paddle, you have the paper to help give him a hand. Not the baby hand in Scary Movie, but something of that content. What do we need to know right now about this connection? Yeah, it's funny. I feel like for a lot of you, you guys were really, really upset and stuck in your head because you were trying to help make this person offers, but it felt like this person, they always turned their back, or it was never enough. I'm also getting too, though, that's coming to an end with the World card here. You have Cancer, Moon in Cancer. You have Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, Capricorn. It can be coming to an end for any of those. But it's a conclusion. It's a conclusion, and it's vindication. This vindication can be on social media, where your person expresses their love, or this can even be somebody that was playing games being called out here. Because for me, with the Lover's energy, this is about harmonizing. It's no longer being upset. Because what you may or may not realize with this Gemini energy is that your person really does love you, and they fantasize about you all the time. They fantasize about what it would be. They fantasize about what it'd be to just be able to be with you every day, in and out. Because again, I think that the way, for some reason, there's a heavy emphasis on your intellect, or the way that you think. And this person, I feel like, tried to test that boundary. And every time they tried to test your logical perspective or your logical approach on something, it's like they ended up kind of eating crow completely today. This person feels like it's needed. They feel like the partnership, the synergy, the purity, that it's for them. But see, the choice for them wasn't between you and somebody else. No, the choice was, can I be vulnerable enough to balance out their vulnerability? Am I enough for the collective? I think that's the difference. I'm also getting very, very strongly here today that your person's having a brand new perspective. And I like this energy very much. I like the Hangman energy, because what it's doing is it's showing that they're having a level of illumination with what's going on. I feel like with this person, they're beginning to realize that with you, They're having a new perspective on your thought process, but also on the way that they think and the way that they take action. It's something that's not expressed, or it's something that's not communicated, which now they're seeing how it can put you in your head, how it can cause anxiety, how it can cause fear to sit here and hold on to something without receiving something in return. There can be communication coming in here from you to your person, or your person to you, which giving you or them a new perspective on a connection, because there's a lot of personal enlightenment. For some of you, you may be dancers, you may be into gaming, you may be online or influencer spiritually, you could podcast, whatever it's this energy right now with you and your person. It's divinely orchestrated. If there was a pause, it was for this person to see that you balance them out. It was for them to see that you give them a completely different perspective in order for this person to have significant changes. Aquarius energy is here for the freedom of the Nine of Wands, to free themselves from feeling alone, to free themselves from always feeling like they need to run away. You're dealing with somebody that's a runner or a track star, but see, that's why they're being divinely assisted to see things in a different manner. They're being divinely assisted to communicate or listen, Gemini energy, to listen to what you're saying. And it's what it's doing is it's giving them a different perspective on a new way of seeing something. This divinely guided. I do still see there can be anger coming in, communication of anger. This coming in from this coming in from the Devil energy and Temperance and the Ten of Wands. This can be literally the devil going up in flames. Whatever, if there was spell work done, because for some of you if there was spell work that was done that's being removed completely, that's why. You're going to notice a lot of people or energy is going to be angry or jealous, because your person's stepping into their own. Your person's able to identify the devil. They're able to see the subtle manipulation of either the world around them, of their family, of their friends, of restriction, of police, of distance, of whatever, because there's some travel here, travel or distance. I also feel like with this person, they're a people pleaser. So it's like they try to make everybody happy. And in return of making everybody happy, they're not making themselves happy. The fact that you have the Nine of Wands going to the Ten of Wands, that's beautiful, right? That's like letting the wild horse free and allowing them to do what they need to do. There's a sense of freedom. That's why they say people that grow up with extremely strict parents, like people that go to a Catholic school, usually the girl naughty, because it's a level of restriction. That's why they also say, like, when your kid bad at home and then they go out in public, but they have the best manners, there's a reason. So it's this person not feeling like they need to distance themselves in order for them to have freedom, but it's also going in and out of both ideologies with what's necessary and what's needed. I also feel like, too, there's something coming in about finances or a financial opportunity. There's something that's going to make you very happy, though, with the Ten of Cups. Marriage, stability, fairy tale ending with the fourth house, the house of home, family, roots. There's something very happy coming right now, because again, it's this judgment of happiness. We all have a choice. You want to be happy or sad. And I feel like this person was going through a lot of darkness because they kept playing the game. They kept going back and forth. They were listening to advice from people that wasn't for their highest good. That could also be why you were being protected. This person's actually being protected right now. Like this whole judgment and tower moment they're going through is actually shining a light on who they really. It's showing that there's some real purity here. So why are you and this person even worrying about people who don't matter, or those ideas that just aren't working? Honestly, it's like this person just needs to step up and say, enough's enough. I'm going to do things my way on my terms. And that's exactly what's coming, this shift where they're taking control for a lot of you, there's like this really beautiful reconciliation on the way. And I know it might feel like the devil's in the details, or maybe there's someone else involved. Could be a third party, but don't freak out, all right? It doesn't have to be anything serious. It could be a friend or just someone who's been influencing them. But either way, whether they're seeing you from a different perspective or this other person's just being exposed as well, a total fool, it's like this situation's about to shift. Honestly, I feel like they were just trying to keep up with the Joneses, like chasing after some fake illusion, but now something's coming in to reveal the truth. So what's this person hiding from everyone? What's their shadow? Let me see. Okay, we got the star card here. This could be an Aquarius, but it feels different from the other star cards in this deck. This one's all about clarity. You know, it's like shedding light on your mind, your thoughts, changing how you see things, how you think about stuff. It's big. What you might not know is that your person's going through some healing after a major tower moment, like something happened that really shook them up. It's been a lot for them, and that's kind of what they're keeping to themselves. There's more to this for sure. They need to tell you, though, that you're different from anyone else. They need to say that like you're different from anyone else they've met. Now, let's talk about the snakes around them. They're the people or things, you know, they're just not bringing good energy. What do we need to know about that? The Fool popped up, but I feel like it's reversed, honestly. I don't think your person's really talking to these people anymore, like there's no more giving them the time of day. The Moon and the Four of Swords come up. Basically, it's all about rest, stepping back, and healing. So where's your person's head at right now? The Three of Swords. Yeah, they're dealing with a lot of pain, whether they made a bad choice or just have a ton of guilt about things in the past. It's like they're stuck in this cycle of regret. They're kind of doing this back and forth thing in their head. Was I good? Was I bad? But it's like if you're not fully putting in the effort, it kind of says you're not trying enough, right? I can feel there's someone who's really upset by all of this. But what's been blocking the connection? The devil. Could be illusions, addictions, or someone with Capricorn energy. This person's kind of stuck in their own mess. Honestly, I think your person's changing, but it's like the more they wake up to things, the harder it gets for them. They're not a bad person. It's easy to look at people and think they're just bad, but really, your person always loved you. They just didn't know how to handle that love, you know? It's not like they tried to manipulate you. They didn't come into this situation to hurt you. But there's worse and toxic influences around them. Maybe a lot of materialism, fear, or just bad habits, greed, jealousy, all of that stuff. So, what's your person been planning? The King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles comes up at the bottom, and honestly, they're doing a lot of work. Like they've been grinding on something, whether it's work, money, or maybe even planning something for you. They're putting in the effort for sure. How do they see you? Honestly, they think you're someone who's just like real. What you see is what you get, and if you're happy, that's what shows up in your life. It's kind of like you've become this inspiration. You've become this inspiration for them to make some changes. I feel like they look at you and think, I want to be like that. But how do they feel about the people around them? The Five of Swords. Yikes. They see them as playing games and being manipulative. There's a lot of illusion, mind games, you know? They might even view these people as okay with shady stuff, like having secret relationships or being comfortable with things that are off limits. It's like they know there's a lot of mind games happening. And what does the universe want to say about all of this? Well, it's clear I want the chance to make you happy. This connection, it's really made them want to do better. Honestly, being apart from you just doesn't feel right. That is all I have for you today, beautiful souls. Thank you for spending this sacred time with me here at Spiritually Aura Tarot. If this reading hit your heart and mirrored your situation today, drop a comment below and share your story with our community. Honestly, your presence and your energy mean the world to me. Take care of your beautiful soul. Keep shining and stay close to this channel because there's so much more to uncover in the coming days. I'll see you very soon in your next reading. Bye-bye.